Thank you, everybody, for joining in person or remotely. Judge Travis, you can hear us all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we have a quorum in order to start the meeting. We're expecting one other subcommittee member to join us, and hopefully we'll be able to do so soon. Hopefully you all had a chance to at least look at the agenda, if not skim through the couple of spreadsheets we'll be talking about and thinking about this afternoon. And if you don't mind, would you start us off with a little bit of background on the first group of the FVPSA?
Oops, right. Very good. Very good. All right. So our Family Violence Prevention Services Act funding, we have a little bit over $2.7 million available, and we had a little over 4.1 million requested. This funding requires us to allocate funds to agencies who provide domestic violence shelter services and those who don't provide shelter services. So it's a 70-25% split. The other 5% is admin for us.
Is the 70-25 split like from total grant dollars that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And that means obviously a lot less available for non-shelters. The amount requested was 2.8 million for shelters and 1.2 million each for non-shelters. And because of that, we had to treat these kind of like our recommendations differently because we had a lot more requested for non-shelters than we had available.
Right. Is that the bottom two lines on the last page of the spreadsheet? Those,
It is.
that's the
It is.
shelter, non-shelter breakdown?
It is. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's non-shelter on the last page. The amount available is the total, and then on that, the larger amounts are the shelter and the smaller amounts are not shelters.
Thanks.
Yep. We have 40 applications submitted this round. And I did meet with the Domestic Violence Coalition last week, and we came up with these recommendations together because it was such a difficult narrow we're in. We're having to cut folks for non-shelters. So we did this recommendation together last week, actually. And this is what we came up with. They are mixed. So there's a column in here that says shelter, non-shelter, so S and NS. So that tells you it's the shelter, non-shelter throughout this whole application. There were 3 new applicants in the last page, and we're not recommending funding for any new applicants this round. In summary, essentially, the shelters either receive what they requested, or we try to increase them to a max of 11%. And then non-shelters pretty much got what they got last grant period. Some got a slight increase, and there are 2 that were recommending less funding because of a high deobligation rate of 50%. So those are noted in here as less than last time. That's kind of a quick summary.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
All right. I think you just answered this, but my question was going to be on the not recommended for funding. Of course, I understood the first 2. They
Sure.
But the last one, like you're new. Sorry, we are not taking new. Doesn't really matter the merits of your. I mean, that's how they said it's 48 score, but doesn't matter the merits. You're new. This is just the funding decision we've made.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very low score. The application was very difficult to understand what their program is going to be. They are funded by other of our grants, so they're not new to us. They're new to FVPSA, and they're non-shelter, so that means we have to cut the non-shelters more than we're already cut.
We're also finding that AI is writing more and more of our applications.
I'll be surprised.
Which is very problematic because AI doesn't understand any of this.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's rating? Like that's where that number comes from?
There's their score. We score their application.
Using AI?
No,
No. I saw not on
Applicants are using AI.
to write their application.
Oh, understood. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we all have a
Yes.
handle for it.
Can we just tell because if it's like gobbledygook?
Pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like using words but saying nothing.
Yes.
And that's really what this application was. It was like, I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
Your chat
It
GPT
was-
is not registering. All right.
That bad.
Yeah,
So are we gonna give them some of that feedback or have we given them that
we
feedback?
haven't given the feedback yet, but yeah, we'll let them know they were denied and the reason they were.
I mean, and just in general, like if you are using AI to do these, maybe it's on the instruction sheet or something, or do we only pass through the federal instructions?
We passed through no, we make our own instructions for writing an application. We did not talk about AI.
We are starting to talk about it from when we go to different places and we have a slide on how you might registering an IntelliGrants and the things you need to do to have a successful application. One of the things I talk about is not using AI at all.
All right. That's good.
Yeah.
Righty, Judge Travis, you have any questions?
No, thank you. I read everything and understood what was going on. Thank you so much for asking, Mark.
Sure, you're welcome. So, I'll propose we'll take these in categories as we've done before. The first one for FVPSA would be the applicants reflected on the first page of the spreadsheet. The recommendations of staff to the subcommittee are that they receive the amounts requested. There is one for Montgomery County where the amount recommended is slightly more than they requested. Anything beyond what's in the comment column,
They just had a math error
okay.
that we corrected for them.
That's why, beyond that, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for correcting that.
It was still less than they got last time.
Sure.
Yeah.
And to open the floor for formal discussion, I'll move that the subcommittee adopt the recommendations of the staff to the subcommittee as to the programs, agencies listed on the first page of the spreadsheet, that they receive grants in the amounts reflected in the funding recommended column.
Okay.
Second, questions, discussion about the first group, those
I
seven.
have one question about the non-shelter ones. So these two non-shelter, Preveo and Rush County, got the recommended amount requested, whereas as you noted, a lot of the other non-shelters you had to cut. What was the distinction between these two?
The Prevail only requested $100 more, so we thought we'd give them $100. Rush County is a agency of one. So if we didn't get what Beckett recommended, then she'd be agency of zero. Because any cut, maybe that they couldn't have her working there.
Took into account the very particular.
Yes.
facts, So.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Amy Marie, I'm gonna leave this, the default will be unless we hear from you, we'll assume you have no questions. How's that?
I am perfectly capable of jumping in when I need to, so that works for me.
Again, color me surprised on that one. As long as we maintain signal, we'll be okay.
There we go.
So if there's no further discussion, the motion on the floor has been seconded is the first group of seven. That the subcommittee adopt the staff recommendations in the specific dollar amounts listed on the spreadsheet in the funding recommended column. We'll do it by roll call just to make sure we've got it clear. Amy Marie, if you're in favor,
Aye.
please say aye.
I
Hi.
Please.
Fine.
I'm in favor as well, so that motion passed. That's 7 of the 40. Let me propose this, because it's a smaller number. Let's jump ahead to the 3 that are recommended for not funding. That way, with simple mindedness, I have a pretty good idea how many are left in the second group. So that third page, and you've touched on it, Kim, anything beyond what you've shared in the kind of the preview?
No.
Those 3 recommended for not funding.
The first two just didn't meet the requirements of the funding, and we already discussed the third one.
So to open the floor for formal discussion, I'll move that the subcommittee adopt staff recommendations that the 3 agencies programs listed on the final page of the spreadsheet, all 3 non-shelter facilities receive no funding, at least from in this cycle. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Discussion, questions? I have none either. Again, we'll go by a roll call, if you will. Amy Marie, if you're in favor, please say aye. That would mean
Aye.
they would not receive.
Sorry, I know
funding.
that means they get no funding, sorry.
Okay, sorry. Err on the side of clarity. Or
Aye.
Bernice,
Aye.
and I am in favor as well. So the middle group, if I'm correct, that leaves about 30 agency programs. And receiving amounts, at least by heading of the spreadsheet, amounts less than requested, but I believe you indicated for another might be getting more or different, or
Two are getting less.
two are getting less.
So Adams Wells, Crisis Center, and then New Directions are getting approximately half what they requested because of their 50% deobligation fee.
Remind me what that means.
It means that we gave them a award and only spent 50%.
That's right. Thank you.
So 50% and with FVPSA funds is one out. If we don't spend it, it goes back to the feds.
Wow. So we don't even get a chance to reallocate that bucket.
No extensions allowable in these funds as 1 year funds. So for FVPSA, it's really important that they spend what they get. Otherwise, we lose it.
And we move and second this yet for discussion?
No, but if it's in the nature of kind of a general, that's fine with me, but if it's more specific. Why
I'll
don't we?
wait.
Okay. So I will move that the subcommittee adopt the recommendations of staff for the agency's programs, page 2 through 7 of the spreadsheet, to receive grants in the amounts reflected for each one in the funding recommended column. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion made and seconded. Discussion, questions about any or all of these? Go ahead.
On page 4, the Lake County, I always ask about Lake because I know that they have challenges with
Yeah.
even receiving grants. So I could not remember if this Haven House, have they been in a situation in the past when they did not get awards? And I'm just going from if you don't remember, it's fine. I feel like for sure, and I could not remember the organization, but there was a shelter in Lake, like we couldn't even award it because between not spending and then having like issues with.
I don't
So that
think it was
wasn't-
Stephen House. I think it was Gary Commission.
Yes, that sounds, thank you. I was trying to search my memory.
Yes.
Okay. And then, I mean, this is such a big difference from what they asked to what they are, what we're approving. And so,
Yeah, it's in line with the 11% we gave all shelters increase. The reason they're asking for so much is we had American Rescue Plan funds.
Yep.
That ending 9/30. And so a lot of these large increases you'll see in here, you'll see it from them, you'll see it from a couple other agencies. They try to move the expenses that were covered for the last 3 years or so on
Mm.
American Rescue Plan funds to new applications.
got you.
And this is one of them.
Okay.
They had some staff that were funded by those rescue plan funds that in 9/30 and it starts 10/1.
Sure.
So you'll see, and I'm applying here, you also see on next one that there's some. applying
So this is like just a desperate gas to find a
to
place
find
for
for their
expenses.
leaving.
I got
But we're trying to at least keep what was currently funded.
Yep.
On FVPSA.
you.
On this,
Thank you.
on this FVPSA.
Thank you.
All the rescue plan funds were through this program too,
Mhm.
so they're just options.
And what about the notes that say supplanted?
Yeah, so supplanting is where they're trying to replace state funds, local funds with federal funds. You can't replace local state funds with federal funds. So that's not allowed.
I would note we've been joined by the final member of our subcommittee here. Thank you, thank you. We are talking about the FVPSA set sheriff in terms of the group that is recommended for funding in an amount different than they requested. Maybe that's the better way to say it, because and some of these recommendations from the staff to the subcommittee actually reflect increases over what they got last year, some not. But generally speaking, it's less than what they requested, is why they're in this category.
Correct.
If there are no other questions about any of the ones in that group, I'll go through the roll and Take a vote. Amy Marie, if you're in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sheriff?
Sorry, you broke up. Did you say Jeff or I'm just coming in? I
Yeah,
apologize.
well, I said sheriff, but it sounds like
Okay.
Jeff. So
It sounded like Derek. So, okay, sorry. My apologies. Technical difficulties, which means me, was not able to log on. Thanks, Jacob, for getting me where I need to be. I am just jumping on. I feel comfortable trusting your all judgment. If you guys are saying it's okay, I say yeah.
Lord,
Aye.
Bernice?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. So the subcommittee's adopted this. Staff's recommendations as to that second group. Now we move on to 2025 staff recommendations.
Yeah.
So
So this is our services training officer prosecutors. So STOP stands. STOP is very difficult for us to award out funding because they have so many requirements. So that's on the last page of the spreadsheet. They have these actually 6 categories. So we have courts, so we have to give 5% to. Law enforcement, we have to give 25% of the funding to. Prosecutors is also 25%, but we have a 50% discretionary, and we throw a discretionary into the prosecutor. Victim services is 30%, and 10% of the victim services, 30% needs to be to culturally specific programs, and then overall 20% has to be for sexual assault specific programs. So we make funding recommendations. We really have to go by the categories and look at each category separately and have a procedure or practice to get them to where their percentage needs to be. Law enforcement, we tend to be always under, and we're again under this time. So we're at 15%, and we should be at 25%
for law enforcement.
for law enforcement.
And is that due to not enough applicants?
Not enough applicants. What also counts as training law enforcement. So we do have some applicants in here who train law enforcement. So they go to our law enforcement, but they don't do that 100% of the time. They may do it 25% of the time. So 25% of their award percentage gets applied to law enforcement. We just don't have enough applicants for law enforcement, and that's been historically the case.
Would it help at all to like reach out to FOPs to be like, or it doesn't have to be, I'm just.
Yeah, we have reached out, to places. Part of the issue is supplanting, right? So it has to be a position that was not previously paid for by any other source.
Got it.
And that's where the problem comes. They have to create a new position essentially, or lose funding for a position in order to not be supplanting. And I think that's where it comes into issues. They have to get approval of their county, the city, have it budgeted for, and that's a long process. And our applications aren't open long enough for the press. So we have a hard time for law enforcement to make that, but training is a good opportunity to meet our allocation. Yeah, so that's so when we look at this, we took each category separately and what we need to do to get to the percentage. Law enforcement, we pretty much funded everyone what they asked for, except one because of I think it's a planting issue. We're short, so we aren't awarding all 100% we have available because we're going to have to open up a second opportunity just for law enforcement because we're required to make an effort to get to our percentages. And so we're going to set aside almost around $200,000 to open up opportunities for law enforcement to see if we can get some applicants, some training for law enforcement in there. Prosecutors is not the case. We're way over allocation for our prosecutors, even if they're discretionary. So unfortunately, we had to decrease prosecutors, most of them, than what they requested. And we did that by their de-obligation percentage. So if you see it here,
It's not the number of recipients, but the dollar.
not the recipients, the amount funded to each one. So I added a column in here that says de-obligation. So that's the percentage of funds agencies de-obligated. So we use that as a reward amount for prosecutors. Victim services, we pretty much could get what they got last time. And that came out to a pretty close to percentage that we need These percentages will decrease a little bit when we give law enforcement money. So we try to make the best guess we can on how much we'll give law enforcement. There's a couple of victim services we gave more because there are culture specific programs. So we have to meet that 10%. So I had to give them a little bit more to keep our 10% there. Court, we had one applicant for court. So they get what they asked for, except a little some anything in there. We're still at 4% for them. We did had 6 new applicants as well. 5 of the 6 are not recommended for funding. We did recommend 1 for funding. And that is Grace Horizon, who you will also have seen on FVPSA as an applicant. There are only applicants who provide services to sexual assault victims who are trafficked, which is allowable. It's narrow, right?
Yeah.
So traffic victims are often sexually assaulted. They're the only ones that focus on that population. So we thought we'd try to give them, not if they requested, but at least some funding to work with that population. It is allowable purpose area on stop. We're only applicants that focused on. But all the other 5 we did not recommend funding. And you'll see similar names as the previous funding on there as well. That's a kind of a quick overview and how we went about trying to get to our percentages that we need to get to.
Thank you. And again, as you all have done pretty consistently for as long as I can remember, at the end, as you mentioned, at the end of the spreadsheet at the bottom are the percentages noting the challenge, what I'll call challenge of law enforcement, and what I will call inartfully a holdback of about 200,000.
Yeah.
The difference between the 3.6 available and the 3.4 that staff is recommending to the subcommittee. If I may remind me, if a program would fit within the victim services bucket and also culturally specific, do you all count it in both?
They
in
do.
terms of your percentages?
Right. Yeah. So they get counted both categories.
Okay.
We have 2 applicants that qualify for that culture.
Okay. That was my memory, is that these are not exclusive
Not exclusive. Right.
categories. You can
Yes.
2 birds for one stone.
Same for sexual assault is overall of all the funding recommended, 20% has to be for sexual assault.
Because otherwise percentages don't add up.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And overall, how many applicants did you?
We have 54.
54?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other general questions? Jeff, Amy Marie?
No, thank you.
And I believe Jeff might have a conflict in here. Because we
Oh.
have
Okay.
Porter County Prosecutor as an applicant.
Well,
Well, and then maybe a second for the Caring Place.
Okay, yeah.
I do fundraising for the Caring Place through my campaign and also the sheriff's office.
Right, so if I'm tracking that, I don't believe that's true for the first group, which is staff's recommendations and receive awards in the amount they requested. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're clear, so to speak. You have to vote on this first group, and I will move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations for the agencies programs listed on pages 1 and 2 of the spreadsheet. That those programs receive awards in the amounts they requested, totaling a little over, well, almost 640,000 altogether for those programs. Is there a second? Seconded. It's a formal and more detailed discussion about any of those 9 or 10 or so, the first 2 pages of the spreadsheet. Hearing none?
Yeah.
Oh,
By me.
hearing none. If you're in favor, please indicate aye. Amy Marie?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Bernice?
Aye.
I'm in favor as well, so that first motion passes as to 2025 stop. Second group, and again, let me do it, propose doing it this way. We'll take the last group first, just because it's a smaller group, because there may be more questions and comments about the middle group. So we'll turn to the 2, 3, 4, 5 is, Kim, 5 mentioned on the last page of the spreadsheet that staff is recommending they not receive funding, and in order to open discussion about those 5, I will move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations as to each of those. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Discussion regarding the final page of the spreadsheet, the last 5 agencies programs in this spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm having an audio problem. Everything keeps cutting out, so I'm not exactly sure on what's being said. Is this where it's involving the carrying place?
No, we kind of jumped ahead to the third group, Sheriff, the 5 that are recommended for no funding, partly because hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to track. We get in the second group, so I believe you're fine on that on the group that's
Okay.
currently under consideration.
Okay, all right. And that's, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know if that's better. I think noise suppression is on, which may have been causing some audio issues.
I didn't hear any of that.
It's page 10, Jeff.
Okay. I did hear that. I heard that. Okay.
So hearing no questions or further discussion, we'll call roll in terms of the vote. If you're in favor of the subcommittee adopting the staff's recommendations as to those 5, which would be no funding, I said that clumsily, no funding for those 5, please indicate by saying aye. Amy Marie?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Bernice?
Aye.
And I am in favor as well, so that motion also passes. The second group comprises pages 4 through 9 of the spreadsheet. I'm sorry, 3. I took too many. Apologize. Thank you. 3 through 9, and this would be how many applicants do you know?
39.
39 of the total comprises these pages of the spreadsheet. Before we consider a motion, anything about these beyond the preliminary you've indicated, Kim?
No.
None? Okay. And then Sheriff, which 2 do you want to recuse from?
Definitely the carrying place.
Okay.
And do I need to, on the record, provide a reason, or just, is it just,
Yeah, I would not say you need to, but if you're more comfortable.
well, I'll ask the subcommittee, because like I said, I do fundraising for that organization, both in my official capacity and then also as through my campaign as well.
Speaking for myself, I don't know that you necessarily would need to, but I think it would be better if you did, just for appearances, if nothing else.
Okay,
That's just me. So,
I would agree.
Great.
do you all have track of which 2 he's referring to?
Well, the other one, I'm not sure about the Porter County prosecutor.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know if I have not abstained from anything through the prosecutor's office in the past, so I don't know if that really applies on this.
all right. Yeah, I don't. Again, speaking for myself, I don't think that's an issue. So
Okay.
what I would propose then, for the sake of the voting, is, but for the 2 you are recusing yourself, Sheriff, I will
Just
move.
one now. Just
Oh, sorry.
carrying
Just-
place,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Just one.
Thank you all for keeping me on track. For the one you're recusing yourself, the carrying place, I will move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendations as to those, and we'll leave aside carrying place for a separate vote. So Sheriff, you'll be able to vote this time on this motion if there's a second.
Second.
There's a second. Any formal discussion about the 38 of the 39 in this second group of applicants? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Amy Marie,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Bernice,
Aye.
and I'm in favor as well. So as to those 38, the motion passes. And then we'll take separately, noting in the minutes that you were recusing yourself, Sheriff, on Caring Place. I'll move that the subcommittee adopt staff's recommendation as to that specific one to accommodate the recusal by Sheriff Ballin. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Any discussion, questions about that single agency department program? Seeing and hearing none. Jeff, I won't even call on you on this one. Amy Marie, if you're in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Lauren,
Aye.
Bernice?
Aye.
I'm in favor as well, so that motion passes. Noting that the chair did not vote on that last motion. Anything further from staff for today?
No, that's it.
Board meeting is September
Fifth.
5th, September 5. Anything from you, Judge?
No, but thank you for asking.
Okay. Sheriff?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks, everyone.
All righty. Thank you all. We'll consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Would you like extra copies back or? I have 3 here. Or at least you're